1,000 architects and engineers call for a new 9/11 investigation and cite evidence of explosive demolition at the 3 World Trade Center towers. Today, our non-profit organization, Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth, announces that we now have over 1,000 architects and engineers who have signed on to the petition demanding a new investigation into the destruction of the 3 World Trade Center skyscrapers on September 11, 2001. That includes not only the Twin Towers, but also Building 7, the 3rd high-rise to be destroyed that day. Richard Gage, AIA architect and founder of Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth, is also announcing this decisive milestone today at a primary organization press conference in San Francisco. This press conference is also being held in numerous cities throughout the world, including LA, Las Vegas, Seattle, Portland, Chicago, Austin, Dallas, Madison, Dover, New Hampshire, Tulsa, Tucson, Boston, Alexandria, Virginia, Tampa, Temple Terrace, Florida, Denver, New York, Newark, and internationally in Ottawa, Vancouver, Victoria, Brussels, Copenhagen, Sydney, Australia, and Wellington, New Zealand. After careful examination of the official explanation of the destruction of these 3 buildings, along with the eyewitness testimony and forensic data that was omitted from the official reports, these professionals have concluded that a new independent investigation into the catastrophic events is both necessary and essential to the preservation of our democracy. Mr. Gage is delivering more detailed news about this major development and is accompanied by signers of the Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth petition at the San Francisco press conference. Our architectural and engineering professionals will discuss our organization's findings and concerns. A brief outline today of the explosive evidence compiled will be followed by the opportunity to ask questions. Detailed information may be found in the DVD we have produced, which is titled 9/11 Blueprint for Truth, The Architecture of Destruction. It is available on our website, ae911truth.org, which analyzes the scientific forensic evidence, concluding that the 3 World Trade Center skyscrapers in New York City were demolished with explosives in a controlled demolition on 9/11. We base our conclusions solely on forensic evidence. Mr. Gage notes, the official FEMA and NIST report provide insufficient, contradictory, and fraudulent accounts of the tower's destruction. Therefore, in addition to a new investigation, we're also calling for a grand jury investigation of the individuals responsible at NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, including lead investigator Shyam Sunder and co-project leader John Gross. The destruction of the 3rd high-rise on 9/11 World Trade Center 7, a 47-story building which was not hit by an aircraft, came down in pure freefall acceleration for more than 100 feet, a significant fact that NIST has been forced to admit due to research conducted by our AE 9/11 Truth petition signers. Yet NIST fails to review or acknowledge the obvious implications. That the columns must have been explosively severed within fractions of a second of each other. We encourage you to review the startling collapse on our website, ae911truth.org. Other disturbing facts gathered from the forensic evidence include complete destruction and dismemberment of Building 7, collapsing in just six and a half seconds through the path of what was greatest resistance, virtually and symmetrically, including a 2.5 second of pure freefall, zero resistance. An occurrence only possible with expertly placed explosives. The complete destruction and dismemberment of both Twin Towers in just 10 to 14 seconds, which is near freefall acceleration, again requiring all 47 massive core columns to be explosively severed. Over 100 first responders reported sounds of explosions and flashes of light at the onset of destruction. Multi-ton steel perimeter wall sections were ejected laterally at 60 miles per hour to a distance of 600 feet. The mid-air pulverization of 90,000 tons of concrete and metal decking, a 1,200-foot diameter debris field. There should have been 110 floors stacked up at the bottom if there were a gravitational collapse, as stated in the official explanations. That's 220 acres of 4-inch thick concrete slabs. Yet no floors are seen in the photos, just a 2-story pile of pulverized building materials. In videos of the destructions, you can see easily isolated explosive ejections of pulverized building materials, 20, 40 stories below the collapsing portion of the building. Firefighters and engineers found several tons of molten metal in the debris under each of the 3 high-rise buildings. Yet fires and jet fuel cannot possibly be responsible for these temperatures. FEMA documents in their May 2002 BPAT report, Appendix C, the melting of steel beams, saying they were, quote, like Swiss cheese. Evidence of thermite incendiaries has been found by scientists in the previously molten iron and steel and in samples of the dust that blanketed Manhattan. Evidence of advanced explosive nanothermic composite materials was found in the dust samples by an international team of scientists. This substance is manufactured only in the most sophisticated defense contracting laboratories. If the official conspiracy theory were true, nanothermite should not be found in the World Trade Center dust. There is no precedent for steel-framed, high-rise buildings collapsing due to fire. AE 9/11 Truth conclusions are shared by thousands of scientists, senior-level military intelligence and government officials, pilots and aviation professionals, firefighters, scholars, university professors, 9/11 survivors and their family members, and other professionals around the world. Patriots Question 9/11.com, Firefighters for 9/11truth.org, Journal of 9/11studies.com, to name a few. The implications are enormous, and we have the potential for profound impact on the forthcoming Khalid Sheikh Mohammed trial. Today, every member of Congress will be receiving the AE 9/11 Truth petition with every one of the 1,000 architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth petitioners on it. The implications of controlled demolitions of the World Trade Center point toward treason. We are reminding U.S. public officials that misprision of treason is a federal offense committed where someone who has knowledge of the commission of any treason against the United States does not inform the president, the federal judge, or a state governor or state judge. It is punishable by fine and up to 7 years in federal prison. The 9/11 Truth movement, which Time magazine in 2006 called a mainstream political reality, continues to gain momentum. As AE 9/11 Truth's own influence grows, Richard Gage, AIA, has embarked on well over 130 speaking events covering 20 states and 13 countries, including Australia, New Zealand, Germany, Canada, and Japan at the end of 2009, as well as here in Victoria, BC, just a few years ago. Our own organization regularly attends architectural conventions, most recently in San Francisco, Washington, D.C., and Richmond, Virginia, where we're educating hundreds of architects and engineers and sharing the research systematically, as resulted in new signatories to the petition and additional support for a new independent investigation. He has been interviewed by print and broadcast media around the world on this topic, including the BBC, the CBC, National Geographic, Fox TV, PBS, and others. Samples of this coverage can be found at our website, ae911truth.org. Thank you for coming out today, and we will be answering any questions